What's going on, guys? And welcome back to the Hustle and Muscle podcast. And Chris is cracking
What is
open a
up?
beer.
Good morning, everybody. We early one today,
Yeah.
so we haven't done the podcast in a hot second. Been
Right.
so busy.
So busy and lots of work. And we've been dabbling with another podcast, which you guys, I'm sure you know, CPA After Dark. So today we have two very special guests. We have my co-host Marit and her husband, who we call the RV guy.
The bicycle rider.
That's not right.
He is
a
the
boy on a
RV
bike.
guy as well.
You're talking
does.
about the AV guy.
AV guy. Oh my gosh. Thank
Yeah,
you.
AV.
So
And
the AV
RV.
guy.
He
could
lives in
probably
an
also
RV
drive.
down by the sea.
I'm sure he's an exceptional driver as well. But
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Our friends from a distance.
What's your tagline? Hey guys.
So we invited Rex and Marit onto the podcast. So for those that don't know, we have the new podcast that started on YouTube,
Mhm.
CPA After Dark, where you guys teach people how to cheat taxes and steal money from the government
It's not accurate.
in a bi-weekly
Marit
episode.
just turned a shade of white.
Whoop, whoop.
For legality reasons, that is not the case.
Yeah.
Where we teach people how to strategize their taxes throughout the year, so then at the end of the year they don't owe Uncle Sam a ton of money. It's strategy, it's not evasion.
Right.
Yes.
And Marit's first
Totally
client
legal.
ever that she had was Wesley Snipes. She is the CPA of Wesley Snipes. So let's get into it a little bit. So we film all the time together. Well, I don't film and Rex doesn't film, but you two girls do, and we help out with the whole show. But where are you guys from? Tell everybody a little bit about where you guys are.
Rex?
Okay, yeah. So we live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm originally from Utah, and Marit kind of bounced all around, but eventually we decided that this was the best place for us to like raise a family. Utah's got a great economy. There's a ton of stuff I like to do here, so Utah's really kind of the place. Other than Marit hates the cold, so it kind of
I do hate the cold.
sucks for her, but
I think I text you guys all the time pictures of the cold weather and crying faces, but
Yeah. And you're always in long sleeve shirts and I'm always in tank tops.
yeah, it's finally warming up. We got the short sleeve today.
Did
so
you
yeah,
ever
so
live in a warm place?
I did. Yes. I moved around my whole life. My mom was a single mom. I didn't really have a home base. And when I was from 19 to 29 was the longest I lived in one spot. So it's the most I've had as a home base until now. But I was in Orange County where the weather was always like 74 degrees. So
Ooh.
I ended up moving to Utah because my family had slowly accumulated here. And, I was getting into my 30s and I was really missing a lot of family stuff. So I moved here and then I met Rex. I already kind of had known him on a virtual level, but I met him in person maybe like 3 months after I moved here. And that was it. He locked me down. So
I
it's a
have so
pretty
many
quick-
questions now. What do you mean you met virtually?
she subscribed to my OnlyFans.
Like in the description below.
That was like way before
It turns
OnlyFans, I
out-
think. I don't think OnlyFans was a thing back then.
No,
It turns out she was your only fan.
Yeah.
That's
So
different
my mom,
context.
Yeah.
weird.
that
No,
was
we
good.
met
That caught me off
playing.
guard a little bit.
We met playing a really simple game. It's called Words with Friends. It's kind of like Scrabble or.
Oh my God, I
you build
remember
words,
that.
setting it back and forth. And so like we used to send each other little word games, and I played with her mom first, then she introduced us, and we just kind of hit it off. So like we would just text and
Yeah, like
Are you
message
thinking
in the
Mrs.
app.
Robinson
that
right
kind
now?
of virtual.
Yeah,
That kind of
it's a
virtual.
good relationship when you can let the mom play too.
You
I have
walked
all the
right into
moms.
that.
That is
Well, there
kind
is a huge
It's true.
Mormon demographic in Utah, so I don't judge.
Yeah, you don't know. He does like older women too, because
That's
I'm
a
older
fact.
than
Who
him by
doesn't?
111 days. So
Yeah.
Wow.
I used to be
Yeah.
married to a younger girl at one point. And she got older.
What? In the
I'm not
actual-
laughing at that. I'm not encouraging
Chris,
that.
bad.
Oh, wait another
No.
2 weeks. I'm going to be another year older. So relax.
So, when I was in my 20s, I I've always been a really motivated person. I've kind of been like the hustle, like go, 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 go. And I always had these boyfriends that just wanted to chill and they'd be like, come sit by the pool with me, come hang out with me. And I was working 2 jobs. You guys know about the one job I had in the day I told you
Mhm.
about. And when I met Rex, I thought, I had learned, like I had tried to change my boyfriends in the past and, I tried to, get frustrated. Why won't they be more motivated? And why do they want me to quit being so motivated? And I was all irritated. So when I met Rex, my whole thought process of going into the relationship was just let him be himself, whether he's motivated or not, because he was like a little dirtbag BMX rider, and I was just like, don't expect much from this guy. And as long as he doesn't tell me to slow down and he doesn't try, because you and I, Kristen, have talked on our podcast about how I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I jumped into
Mhm.
school and I was really like trying to wrap my mind around the finances and business. I was like, as long as he doesn't like, try to tell me not to do that and make me feel bad for it, then I'll just let him be him. But
Mhm.
I began my journey, he kind of came along with me. So it was pretty cool. And because I didn't push him, I feel like I inspired him to like continue to grow. So now we're like doing
Love that.
amazing things. However many years later, we've been married. How many years? 9?
9, yeah.
Almost 9.
Well, I mean, I just didn't want her to leave, I was like, "Oh, shit, I can't let her go anymore." I
Aw.
nabbed her, I can't let her leave, like, if she thinks I'm not gonna do anything good, then she's gonna leave, so I better get my shit together.
I probably would have.
So, yeah, it was good.
So,
I love
yeah,
that.
it's our
Yeah.
little story.
You inspired him.
Now we just motivate each other and inspire each other, and he always lets me shine my really bright, loud, extroverted light, and, I love that. I feel like Chris does that for you too. He lets you
Yes.
shine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one behind me, like, pushing, he's holding the lights, always holding the camera, and just I mean, even when I'm feeling like I'm in a funk, he's always like, "Alright, let's go, let's go." So, he's hustling right there with me, which is awesome. It's you guys are a team, you're building something together, and there's nothing more sexy than building something with your spouse, your best friend.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many people I know that, like, have, like, one part of the couple or the other that's not motivated, and it's, like, exceptionally hard to get through that because, like, one person's carrying all the weight and, like, one person doesn't feel that support, so that's like one of the things I'm most grateful for is that I have somebody that I can support and that supports me back. And like she supports me in all sorts of like really dumb shit that most people wouldn't. Like all of her friends are always
It's
like, "You're
true.
letting your husband go do what? Like he's gonna go do this with his friends." Like, but in my life, it's totally normal. But like most wives are not cool with that. So she's exceptionally
See,
understanding.
I'm an accountant, but I'm cool. See?
You are a
Yes,
very cool
it has to
human,
be.
Thank
and you're
you.
also an
If you
accountant.
ask our 17-year-old, his daughter, my stepdaughter, she might disagree that we're cool, but I'm sticking to it. We're cool. I don't care what
Very
she
cool.
says.
Yeah, what does she know?
Yeah. And the dumb shit he's talking about is the fact that he rides BMX and he does like, is it big air? Is that what you would call it?
I just
Medium
ride.
air. He rides really big
I
ramps
Isn't
and
just
Big
goes
ride
Air
really
like the
like
high.
trampoline park that the kids go to?
Big A yeah, that's
I think
what Big Air is
sometimes
by
I like to
us.
go there too.
he's also
For me.
crazy at the trampoline park,
If
and
you
it
can go
bothers me.
fast and you can do
I'm
flips,
also
then yeah.
crazy at the trampoline park.
Really? Oh yeah, it's a great time. But yeah, no, I ride like freestyle BMX. I like ride at skate parks and ride like quarter pipes and jumps and do all the. I've done it for like 25 years. I started like back in the 90s, and it was something that always stuck with me that I just never gave up. It gave me all the principles in life. It taught me so many lessons, and it's just made life fun. And
So then let's
and
ask this. So like, what about injuries? Like riding a bike. I feel like there has to be like some pretty
yeah,
gnarly ones.
yeah, like actually a year ago today, I have a picture on my phone that popped up as me of like this huge fat swollen foot, my left foot. I crashed at my birthday party a year ago, and I was like, oh, maybe it's okay. Like I'm gonna go to the bar and like have some drinks with my friends and check it out on Monday. And I went in and there, I told the X-ray lady, I'm like, yeah, I kind of tweaked it, and she's like, yeah, you broke like 5 bones. You broke every bone in your foot across like a big line across the top of my foot. And
Oh,
so, yeah, I had to have surgery and have pins in my foot for like 12 weeks. I couldn't walk, and that's the
Couldn't
most recent.
drink, I
Then
imagine.
no,
that's like
no,
your
I could,
entire summer.
I
It
could
was
drink when I had
awful.
my broken foot, and I did.
Oh, okay.
Then I got blood clots because I didn't listen to my doctor, and I got the little leg compressor thing from when you're sitting on the couch, and I didn't wear it because, again, I'm just not. I don't listen to the doctor all the time.
You're
And
too
woke
active.
up one morning just
Yeah.
coughing up blood, gnarly. Just
Yeah, that was
I never rushed
scary.
to the hospital, but I like legit ran, like told Miranda, I was like, I'm going to the emergency room. Something's wrong with me. And yeah, then that
Wow.
was 3 more months of not doing
That was
anything.
when we met you guys, why he
Right.
couldn't
You know,
drink.
then I was
Because he was on the
sober,
gnarly blood pressure medication.
blood
Yeah,
thinners.
we
Blood
liked him
thinner. Yeah,
sober
blood thinner.
even.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
cool.
sober Rex was fun. But it, yeah, I'm not sober any longer, but it's cool.
And I mean, besides the broken foot for 9
Yeah,
years,
no,
well, when
it's
we met, when
broke
we were
everything.
playing Words with Friends all the time, it was
That's
because he
true.
was injured.
That's
And,
true. Yeah.
I didn't know at the time, but he was bedridden from like a shoulder,
No, my back.
a
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. I
Oh,
couldn't do
wow.
anything. So I just sat there
He's gotten like
playing Words
he
with
was
Friends.
riding his dirt bike a few years back and came home and was just like scabbed up all like chest, hands, arm. I mean, bloody, like gross sheets and couldn't. Oh, it was awful. Yeah. I mean, so my friends are like, why do you let him do that? I wouldn't.
I was
I would
gonna
tell
say
my
Words
husband
with
no. And I'm like,
Friends doesn't
what do you
sound
do?
like the most like normal thing for an extreme sports kind of person.
Right. I'm thinking the same
No,
thing.
Like you're
no,
like knitting a
there's no
sweater,
backs.
playing Words with Friends when you're done riding
Well,
your
yeah, and
bicycle.
he cheats. I still to this
don't
day feel
cheat.
like he cheated because he
Don't
was
cheat.
way too good. We'll never get to the bottom
I
of
don't
it. He
cheat.
says he didn't cheat, but
I don't cheat.
I just don't know how
But
he could have beat me.
I mean, you're good with
I,
numbers. Maybe he's just good with
yeah,
words.
I'm very good with words.
she's good with words too.
I'm better with words
That's the
than
thing.
he is.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this
When
too.
he
So
well, I won't say
Kristen
it
is
actually.
also a little bit of an extreme sports kind of person. So we went to Bermuda and Kristen rented a moped and
Nice.
was trying to show off
I was not. I was driving
and
very safe.
and hit a car head on with her moped and destroyed the moped, destroyed herself. I thought like she got hit head on and went
Oh.
like tumbling in the air
Oh,
over the car
no.
and landed in the road. I thought she was dead.
My daughter saw it.
Yeah, my
Like,
daughter was
was
on the
right
back of my
there and
moped.
saw
I could
it.
laugh about it now because she didn't
I'm
die.
alive.
That's so
Um,
scary.
And yeah, so she was on the road and I was like, oh man, she's dead. And then she started to move. So I was like, well, she's still alive. And then she got up and like hobbled to the side of the road. And I'm trying to park my stupid moped. And so I go over and I look and like at one, she was like covered in blood, like all the skin was gone on her body.
All over
And
my body. I was
Mm.
bleeding.
yeah. And she had a hole in her foot, like right on the top of her foot. And like I could look down and it was like a big hole. And you could see like the bones and like the tendons moving when her toes would wiggle. So I was like, okay, just stay calm. I was like, don't look at your foot. And the first thing she does is like snap down, look at her foot. And she's like, holy shit. I was like, yeah, I know.
I was like, I could see my bones.
I was like, it's really bad. So then I was like, oh wait, our phones don't work. We're in Bermuda. So then a woman stopped and she was like, dude, would you like me to call an ambulance? And I was like, yeah, I don't have cell service out here. So we went to the hospital and had to get it treated. And then it turns out in Bermuda, they don't take like
insurance.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. They take cash. So they were like, they started to want to treat her. They're like, we don't think her foot's broken, but we want to x-ray it. And I was like, how much does that cost? And so at one point they're like, do you want like painkillers? And I was like, we got to pay for them too. I was like, no, we got the alcohol package on the boat. We're good. And he's like, she can't drink alcohol. And I was like, why? Because it like thins your blood or something? And he was like, no, because our daughter was with us. And he's like, because she's a mother and her daughter's here. And I was like,
Mm.
right.
In my head, I'm like, I drink because I have a kid, but you can judge all you want. I was like, you're right. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'll just handle the pain myself. It's fine.
Yeah. So we left the emergency room. She was completely bandaged, like arms, legs, her whole body was bandaged up. And we went to Horseshoe Bay because they say that's the most beautiful beach.
That's where we were on
in
our
Bermuda.
way to.
So we get a ride to Horseshoe Bay and we go and I like carry her onto the sand and plop her on a towel. And we spent the whole day on the beach. And
no
then we packed her back.
painkillers.
Oh, I was
No.
full of lidocaine though. At
Oh,
that
yeah.
point, I was full of lidocaine.
Oh.
I remember I climbed like this whole like cliff in a cast.
Yeah.
Like soft cat. Like I was just wrapped up. But they had so much lidocaine from doing the stitches that I didn't feel anything until we got back to the cruise ship that night. And then I was just, I was miserable. I was like, where's the painkillers? But It is what it is. That's what the
Wow.
alcohol package
And then
is
you would
for.
see when we were back on the boat, it was like every time we would go to dinner, there was like another person completely bandaged up. Like, and they would be like bandage buddies. Like one would wave to the other one and it'd be like moped. I'm like, yeah, moped.
Bandage buddy.
Mhm. So I
Yeah,
have
I've
not
never
got on 2
considered
wheels again.
mopeds to be extreme, but I guess
So
mopeds are
extreme.
extreme. You changed my
Yeah.
mind.
Kristen has the
Yeah.
ability to make everything extreme.
Me
This is why I
too.
do not get
Yeah,
on 2
right.
wheels. Everybody in Myrtle Beach is like, all
Oh,
of our friends are like, "Why don't you have a bike, like a motorcycle?" And I'm like, "I will not get on 2 wheels. You couldn't pay me to get on 2 wheels."
How long ago was this? Somebody's asking.
This is 20
Like 18 or 19?
no, it was like 17. It was before my pro card. 17, 18.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
videos on YouTube also. If you go and search
do
like
you have scars on your a scar on your foot?
I have only out of all of that, I have a scar on my foot. But all my I was like ripped open arms and legs. We used it was burn cream, like what people get when they have like third-degree burns like on their body. I forget what
Mhm.
it's called.
Sylvadine.
Silvadene, that's it. So I was using
Sylvadene.
Silvadene and I put that all over my body and I healed. And then I used biochromium gel, which is like what you use for scars after I use it like after breast augmentation. You use it, you put it on your scars and makes the scars disappear. I use that all over my body and I have no scars except for the one on my foot. And you really can't see it. Nobody's really looking that close to the
Sometimes
top
I
of
would
my foot.
apply the ointment after her surgery.
Biochromium, huh?
Yeah, it's
I
legit.
have a few scars. I wonder if it's too
No
late.
joke.
I could
No
try
joke,
to
you can
save
use
them.
it.
And I think a lot of it's like you buy that stuff like from like plastic surgeon
Yeah.
offices, like they'll sell it. It's like expensive. I mean, you might be able to buy it other places, but
Like,
typically
I
places
found,
like
like, a
that.
cheaper version at Walmart, and as soon as I, used it, I was like, "Oh, no, this isn't the same."
It was
So
just aloe.
but you can
Yeah.
tell, like, the consistency of it when you get it from a plastic surgeon versus the junk that they sell at Walmart. It's made different. So, it's worth it to go to a
Yeah.
plastic surgeon. You're looking at, like, 100 to $150 for a bottle of it, but you only use a tiny bit, and it goes a long way.
Yeah. I wanna know how the hospital was in Bermuda, like, what was it like?
It was somewhat normal. Like
Yeah.
I felt like being in a
Was
regular
it?
hospital. It was a little smaller, but
Except for not treating you. They wouldn't touch me until they assessed and then told us what it was gonna cost, and we
yeah, and
gave
then
them a credit
yeah,
card.
they were like
You
start giving us
paid,
credit
yeah.
cards and
And I was like, "Can you start stitching me up? I have the money, like, let's
yeah.
hustle."
I was stealing everything from there too. Like packets of like
Band-Aids,
gauze,
yeah,
like filling
gauze.
my pockets with everything. The second they walk out of the room, me and my daughter were like, go through the drawers, take every band-aid you've got. 'Cause I'm like, we can't go once we're back on the boat, we couldn't go to
Yeah.
CVS.
No,
Eh,
but we did. They
Yeah.
have the medical team on the boat,
oh
and
yeah,
we're like, "Oh,
so
we need, like, gauze." They came out and they're like, "Oh, we have, like, these tiny little Band-Aids, like, you'd put on, like, scraping your knee out come falling off of a bicycle." I'm like, "Oh, no, I fell off a
Mhm.
That's
moped.
not gonna
I
cut
need
it.
gauze
yeah.
pads."
Oh, and then they sold them
Yeah.
to us. It was like they're like,
I was
we
gonna
have
say you'd
bandages.
have to pay $1
It was
million
like
for cruise
$5
ship.
a Band-Aid for like a little like kid's Band-Aid.
It's like, "Give me
And I
$100
was
worth of
like,
Band-Aids.
but
Take
this
'em."
isn't gonna work at all.
It was so bad.
Call me crazy,
Um,
but I wanna see the scabby road rash gross picture. That's
yeah,
what I'm
so
here for.
the thing too, we were filming the whole day. So we were filming like driving the mopeds and I had like a GoPro. My daughter was on my moped.
Mhm.
And like, so I just happened to miss the accident because it was like Kristen was riding in front of me and I could see the wind like blowing because, and also you're driving on the opposite side of the road and everything's in kilometers. So you're trying to figure out how fast you're actually going. And like you're trying to go through a circle backwards. And so everything's like so screwy. And then I could see where there's like a clearing and all of a sudden the wind is pushing her hard from like left to right. So it's pushing her into oncoming traffic as we're going around a bend. And I could see her start to get those
Mm.
like death wobbles where you start to like go with the handlebars. And she was like wobbling
Mhm.
out wider and wider. And I was like, oh God, oh God. And there was a car coming right at her. And I was like,
Oh
no
my
way
god,
this is gonna
that's
happen.
so
And
scary. I can't
the
even
other
believe
thing was
that.
they made us buy insurance on the mopeds. So it was like, oh, $100 a day per moped. And then they're like, okay, and we're paying. And then they're like, oh, and it's a mandatory $50 per moped per insurance. So I was like, oh my God, you guys didn't tell us this too. So I was like, fine, whatever. So we pay that. So her moped's destroyed, like in pieces.
Pieces,
And then so
tiny.
I pull over and eventually a cop, I think, showed up and he's like, what do you want us to do with these mopeds? And I was like, I don't know, throw them in the ocean. Like, I don't care. Put them in the woods. And I was like, hers is destroyed. And he's like, but if we leave yours here, it's going to get stolen. And I was like, that's fine. I paid $50 for insurance. They said it covers everything. And he's like, wouldn't take me serious. He's like, seriously, where do I put the moped? I was like, just put it on the side of the road. I was like, who cares? I was like, we paid our insurance. I really don't care what happens to it. Let them steal it. Just give it away. And so we left the mopeds on the side of the road and got in the ambulance, and we left and never went back. We didn't do anything with them, and nobody said a word. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
I mean, these mopeds, when you look at them, are probably like worth $100 a moped, and they're renting them every day, $100. So I'm like, if they lose one
They're
here and
held
there,
together with zip ties and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, they were horrible. Yeah, mine had like duct tape on the wheels. So I don't think they really cared whatsoever.
Nah.
But,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, so that was our Bermuda story. So that's how she ruins
Yeah.
vacations.
She's
Um,
Doesn't normally
extreme.
happen.
You love her anyway, even though she's extreme. You just gotta. I feel your pain, Chris. I know
I
what it's like
suppose.
to be married to an extreme
Yeah.
spouse who just
Yeah.
won't slow down, and
Yeah.
road rash
Um,
after broken leg.
But on to a more positive thing. So we are reuniting. So that's what everybody needs to
Yes.
know, is that we are going to reunite
Yes, soon.
coming up in July. I booked everything. July 5th, my flights.
Nope, that's not right.
I believe
That's
it's
incorrect.
June.
Oh, no.
It's June.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in July.
Yeah, I booked them and it's in June, and I booked the right dates.
Oh, should have known better. He wouldn't book anything.
Yeah. So we're going to
He
a.
said, you need to sit down and book
No,
this.
he's
And I was like, you mean I do?
he's just gonna judge you for what you book.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
And
gonna
say
get
that
into
you
that.
don't
Oh yeah.
you don't book
Chris
good
is
places.
so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. So we're going out to Utah in June.
Which I've always wanted to go, but in all honesty, for the skiing, because I'm an extremist. But
we could bring our skis.
I don't know that there's skiing in Utah
There's always
No.
skiing in Utah.
June.
No.
But
don't
I
have
do want to go
summer.
They
back
might
and go
not be open in
skiing.
June.
Right.
No,
I want to go back.
there's
That's
not gonna
my
be any snow in June.
that's a bucket list thing. I want to ski in Utah. But we're
Oh,
going to
that'd be
Utah.
so
Never
fun.
been there before.
Yeah. This is my first time getting to meet some Mormons. I'm excited. I'm leaving with more than I came with. I can tell you that much.
Well, I think you might have even met quite a few Mormons at the Tax and Legal in Arizona, because a lot of the people that run it, from the KKOS, they were from KKOS in Idaho, BYU, Idaho. There's a lot of Mormons in there. You definitely have already met some Mormons, Chris.
And I
know
brought
that.
this up when we first met, if you guys remember. The term soaking. I remember hearing this with BYU. The college was like,
I can't believe you're bringing this up.
I was like, you guys live in Utah where the Mormons are. You have to have heard of this. And I believe that you guys did hear of this, right? Before I said it.
Rex taught me that when I moved here from Orange County. Totally. Yeah, he knows all about it.
BYU, of course.
I think we've actually talked about it on this podcast before, because Kristen didn't know what it was, and I brought it up to her on the podcast, and we explained the whole thing. So, so the people listening, go look up, go do some research on the term soaking and Mormons.
You're welcome.
And you'll go down a fun rabbit hole.
You'll have a fun activity to play with your husband or wife later tonight.
It actually is. It actually is fun. Like when we were dating, and I remember he told me about soaking, we would try it to be like, okay, let's try it, because it's like you don't move, because if you move, then you're like doing the full deed, and that's against the rules. And so you just soak, and it is like hard, especially because we were still just dating.
I hope
and
it's hard.
But it's it's difficult.
So
try
we
it.
never film live like this early in the
know?
day. There's a lot of topics hitting us early before
thought you meant
lunchtime.
drinking.
So if you want to have an afternoon delight, start out your afternoon delight with a little bit of a soak.
Cool.
Yeah.
Spice things up.
And then no hot tubs or bathtubs required
No.
for soaking.
No.
And for extra points, pretend you're a Mormon and be like, we really shouldn't be doing this. Oh no, like this is against the rules, but maybe if we just don't move, just get into it. Yeah.
And this is what I was going to say
nice
too.
Mormon couple.
Can you read that on the screen?
Come on.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard of that one, but maybe in the dorms, like the college dorms, maybe I could see that.
I would do it for free. I would undercut the competition. I would be like a professional bed shaker.
Yeah.
Chris just out there shaking everybody's bed.
Bed shaker
That's a
for
career
hire.
path in Utah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so when we met you guys, it was at a tax and legal seminar. Now we're going back again, but this time, Marit, you get to be a guest speaker at it, right? Is that what I heard? Is that a rumor? Are we allowed to talk about that or no?
uh,
Surprise.
um,
Ooh.
We
yes,
can
I'm
fast
gonna
forward if
We
you'd
are
like.
we are now.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
I don't think
yes
anybody's
on
watching
that
this.
one. Yeah, no one
Um,
cares.
all right, so big moves, big things are happening,
Big moves,
and this
big
is
things
all
are happening.
because of the CPA After Dark taking off.
That's
It
that's
is
what that's the
I
driving
think
force.
it's
because
taken
what they
off.
said was they were like, we saw the way you guys set up your AV stuff and
Yeah.
the way you guys edit your videos, it's
Yes.
top notch. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so shout out to
Well,
me
it's
and
all
Rex for
about
that.
visibility. Kristen and I talked about that on one of our last episodes we filmed was, in business, you wanna use
Mhm.
social media or YouTube or whatever, you have to, like, force yourself to be visible, so you might not
Diversifying
be
your
wrong.
platforms.
Yeah, and you might not be wrong with the whole CPA After Dark being a catalyst for a lot of good things because it's visibility and we're showcasing our knowledge and our skills, we're helping people, so it's really fun and yeah, I love it. I'm I'm all for it, putting myself out there, and
Do
now
we
I'm glad that my
know
AV
yet?
guy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is out there too. When we were at the last tax and legal conference too, just another great thing about him is, like, he just let me just social butterfly my ass off, and I would just look at him and he'd be in the corner smiling, and it's so nice to have a man who's confident and kinda just, like, stand there and not feel, some type of way about me just doing my thing. So I
Well,
had
that's
so
because
much
he's your
I really light up
supporter.
in those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so social that I'm so grateful he doesn't try to hold me back and be like, "You're too much," or I mean, sometimes he'll remind me I gotta tone it down a little, but
No, I
No,
not
disagree.
never.
too much, not too
Whenever you
much.
think you need to tone it down, take it up a notch.
So,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
so we
remember
went to
that.
that Mormon networking event yesterday. It was a networking event, sorry,
Was
it
it
wasn't
specifically
Mormon.
about
I thought
It
you were talking about
wasn't
when
specifically
we all
Mormon.
met. I was like, that wasn't a
That
Mormon
wasn't that.
networking
It was
event.
not
That was
specifically.
like a cocktail
No.
party. Too many
Yeah.
cocktails.
Yeah, but and so we went to that yesterday and I did the same thing. So if you guys come and you're not quite sure how to react, you just follow my lead because I can just network with the Mormons and network with the non-Mormons and it doesn't matter if you're somebody with a face and a body, I can talk to you.
That's gonna be my new pickup line. You have a body worth soaking.
If you have a
You have a
a
body
body we're
with
soaking. No,
Uh,
the pickup line would say, "Your body's so good, I don't think that I could soak."
mm,
yeah.
Oh,
Something
I
like
like
that.
that. Have you used
I've
that
never
before?
I was gonna say I've never been good at pickup lines, but I'm sure we
I
could
feel
That's a
use
like
good
Chat
I
one.
feel like that was
GPT to,
dropped
like,
on Words
fix
with
it up.
Friends once or twice.
Yeah. Why does he keep playing the word soak?
And how does he
Vocabulary is so
keep getting
small.
275 points? He's
not
cheating.
not cheating. I'll tell you that.
So what we just so we booked everything for Utah and Kristen booked it and so I was letting her on Airbnb just go to town, just look up places. She's like,
Hold
I
on. You
found
don't
this
let me
I
because
was
I
thinking
do.
usually pick the places we stay at
Watch yourself.
because I like to do a lot of research and everything. So Kristen immediately she just goes to like Airbnb, searches like Salt Lake City.
Well, I searched the
And the first
convention,
thing that
like where
comes
it's
up,
at.
she goes, "I'm gonna book this one." I'm like, "You didn't even look at where it's at, like what it's around. Like you didn't see like, are there any Thai food places around? Are there any sex shops around? Like you didn't do any research." And so, um, but so the first time that Kristen booked her own hotel was when we went to Miami. We stayed. It was this thing called Wadapalooza, and it's a big CrossFit thing, and it's like an outdoor festival where it's like a big competition. All the top CrossFitters go there, compete on like the Intercoastal in Miami, and so we've done it a few years. And Kristen goes, "I'm going to book the hotel this year." I was like, "Okay, no problem." So she books it, and I didn't think anything of it. And she was like, "I got us a really good deal. It was actually pretty cheap to stay
It was very
on the
cheap.
water in Miami." And I was like, well, that doesn't sound like it's going to be cheap, but okay. So we go to this, like, there's like the Intercontinental, this massive hotel. It's very beautiful. There's like these other big, huge resorts all around. Then there was this little rundown hotel, like in between all of them. And so we pulled up and I was like, "This is what you booked?" And she was like, "Yes." And like we walked in and I was like, "Oh my God." It was straight out of like the 80s, but like never redone. And it just looked horrible. Like even the clientele inside kind of like looked at us as we walked in, like, "You guys don't belong here." And so we got our room and Kristen was big because she brought all our meals. She goes, "Hey, we need a fridge."
I ordered it ahead of
Yeah.
time.
So we go and they some guy, they're like, "We have like one fridge. We'll bring it to your room. It'll be in there." So we're like, okay. So we check in. We go, the elevators like don't work. So we go and have to like walk up to the fourth floor to our room. We go in there and it was like two twin beds or two queen beds. And there was like blood on the mattress, like on the sheets. And like one of the beds didn't have a headboard. So like the pillows would just fall off the back of the
It
the
was
bed and like fall
bizarre.
down because like you couldn't put the beds all the way against the wall. And it was like just so eerie. And I was like, oh my God, we are booking a new hotel. We are not staying here. And so I tried booking everything and there was like nothing around that I could book. So I was like, all right, we're staying here one night. So I called the front desk. I was like, we're not staying in this room. This room is absolutely disgusting. So like, okay, we got a much better room. It's on the 10th floor. So I was like, fine. So we get all our stuff, get up to 10th floor. I was like, hey, get that refrigerator, bring it up to my room. And they're like, the maintenance guy is gone for the night, so we can't bring it. And I was like, oh my God, we have all this food. It's all going to go bad. We have to put it in the fridge. So I was like, well, I'll just get it and I'll figure out a way to bring it up. And of course, they also don't have the cart on wheels to like wheel it anywhere.
And the
And
elevators
the
were
elevator
not
is broken.
working.
So I had to put this fridge on my shoulder and I carried it from the fourth floor
He
up
loves
to the
me
10th
so
floor.
much.
6 floors. People were coming down the stairs looking at me like I was stealing stuff. Like I had a huge fridge on my shoulder. My legs are like trembling at this point, trying to get this thing up the 6 floors to our room. I was like, this room better be better. Like it has to be better than what we were in. And it was
It was.
decent
It was
enough.
like a suite for them. Like we had like a living room, kitchen area, and it was much better.
Yeah, but from that
Did you
point
have to
on,
pay
Chris,
extra for it?
No,
no,
no.
Oh,
no
that's
way.
nice.
Oh, I do have one more hotel story because you said about paying for things. But so that ended up working out fine for whatever reason. But I said to Chris, I was like, no more booking. So now fast forward, this is a different
No,
time.
now I only book like 5-star hotels. So
Yeah. And so we go to
Just to be
California
safe.
one time.
yeah, just to be safe.
This story is a little shorter though. So we go to California and we get this. We're in like what was it?
It
Where
was Newport Beach,
Newport
California.
Beach, California.
Uh-huh.
And so
It
we
was a
get
Marriott property.
it was like a really nice like hotel. This was like
Mhm.
really fancy. So we get our room and it was like I think we were there like later in the day. We showed up and they're like, here's your room key. So we have all our bags. So we swipe in. And some rooms, like when you walk in there, they'll have like the TVs on with like a welcome message, like, oh, welcome, Chris and Kristen, stuff like that. So we swipe in and the room's kind of like dimly lit, the TV's on. I was like, oh, it's kind of nice. We're like walking in and there's like a little hallway that you walk in, and then you get to the room, and the bed was like on the right hand side. I remember like walking in, carrying my suitcase, and I looked, and all of a sudden I could see 4 feet hanging out the back of the bed, like in the bed. And I like turned the corner and look, and 2 people were making love actively at the time in
Not
the bed.
soaking.
They were not
Under no circumstances was that
soaking.
soaking.
So I started shaking the bed real quick.
Yeah, you
So
just started jumping on it.
yeah, they're like, "Get out." So I was like, "Oh my God." So Kristen's out. I'm like, "Oh my God." So I try to
We
like
couldn't get out of
get
the room
out.
fast enough.
Kristen's coming in. I'm like, "Get out, get out." She's like, "What?" Like trying to like be nosy and look. She's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "Go." And I'm like pushing her
What's
out
the
the door.
matter?
So I was like, "Oh my God." So we went down to the lobby, and if anybody should have been mad, it should have been those couples, that couple in the bed.
But we made
And
it
Mhm.
about us. It
so
was all
I went
about
down to the lobby
us.
and I was like, "How dare you let me walk in on this? Like, I am mortified." And they were like, "Sir, we are so sorry." And I was like, "You can't give me a room on that floor because I can't run into them again. It's gonna be awkward." They're like, "We promise that will never happen." They gave us like a penthouse suite. Like the woman, I think, was so afraid she was gonna lose her job for this. So she was like, "I got you." And she gave us, we went up to like the top floor.
It was like a corner.
Yeah, like bedrooms, a kitchen, like there was a butler in there, I think. Uh, but it was the most beautiful room. And I was like, we shouldn't have been the ones who got the upgrade. Like that
No.
couple should have got the upgrade. Um, but that was like one of the best upgrades that we've ever gotten.
All I hear is that Kristen's great at booking rooms because it always turns into a free upgrade. I don't
Same.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
still
maybe
I
trying to
agree.
connect
I like the
where
way your
negativity
positivity
is.
is amazing.
Mhm.
You're so negative,
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah. She got you the best
somebody said
suite
I
you've ever
worked for
stayed in.
the Marriott Residence Inn for almost 12 years. Perfect. We're gonna book yours, and then we're gonna come in and then say it was horrible, and then you have to upgrade us because that's the track
Yeah.
record we're on right now.
Right.
No, but
And
we do
hopefully
always
there's
stay at
people
Marriott's.
banging in there too.
We do stay a lot of
Yeah.
Marriott's.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
I please have a room where people are already inside making love?
You could request a pre-check-in item. Just
So did you guys end up booking a place in Salt Lake City then?
Not
No.
yet. No. So that was we were talking about it a couple nights ago when you and I were texting back and forth, and it was late, and I've been waking up going to the gym at like 4 o'clock in the morning lately. So I was like, I've got to go to bed. And then Rex was doing something and he wasn't responding. So it's his fault that it's not booked yet, really.
It was his
And then I
fault
didn't get to
because
do it.
I
I was
can't.
talking to my dad about smoking meat for
Yeah.
a really long time.
And I do have a confession. I had had a few shots of tequila.
Yeah, that might have been
Mm.
tequila.
And so I was like, isn't there a nicer place? But Rex is right. It's only because I wanted to impress you.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, I was like, honey, you have to fix this. I don't know. I told her don't, but there's nothing else in the area. And like, there isn't a lot to choose from in that particular
I mean, they all
area
look
we
cute.
went.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
they're
doesn't look
cute.
like a
They're
huge
fine.
area. Like when you look at the map, I was like, it's not that. I feel like
No.
it's not that huge.
Yeah.
No.
No, you can either
I
choose
figure
an
we can't go too
apartment
wrong.
or-
Worst case scenario, we'll just book the host hotel. We'll be okay.
And you
Right,
guys
yeah.
are athletic.
Yeah.
So speaking of
Yeah.
which, are we going to see Marit working out with Kristen in Utah? That's the big
Mm.
question.
At least once for a picture.
Sure.
She'll work out once for a picture.
Work for
No,
a picture.
working out means
We
we
know that.
actively work out, not just take photos.
I actually haven't worked out in like a few weeks, and it sucks because I got sick, and I don't know if it was COVID or whatever, but I've had the hardest time breathing for real. So like every time I try to do anything, it's like I tried to do a down dog this morning and I couldn't even breathe. So I'll try to work out to prepare for our workout.
Oh, that's called
'Cause at
anxiety.
least I still have time. No, I'm
That's
serious.
called
I like
anxiety.
I think it might have been COVID or something. I've had a hard time breathing. I've had a deep cough and haven't been able to breathe very well. I feel very out of shape. So, yes, I'll work out with you and I'll try to work out beforehand so I
Yay.
can keep up. But I would love that. Especially because I'm not going to drink until after I present, remember?
Yeah, you keep
Right.
saying that, but you
No,
know.
I'm sticking to that.
I'm going to
Sticking
call
to
the host of the event and be like, Marit has to present on day one so we could start drinking.
So, do you know what you're presenting yet or no?
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten
Do
any
you know
details.
what you would want to present?
I mean, something on tax. I have a master's in tax, so I
Something
can
on
really
tax.
Thank you
I can
for
really
getting
present on
more
a lot of
specific
things.
on this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For a girl like me, anything on tax is great.
How
I'm
to
a tax
avoid
lover.
jail would be a good one. I would sit through
Avoiding jail with Marit.
Avoiding
that. How to
jail.
not
I
go to
could do
jail.
avoiding jail with Marit.
Yeah.
Well, we'd be like ordinary and necessary,
me.
documentation, record keeping, blah, blah, blah.
Hey,
Like,
what was the thing that I saw on I was like TikTok or Instagram the other day? It was this guy said he was giving advice. Well, it was not good advice, but he was giving advice. And he said to be extremely risky when you do your taxes and push the envelope because if you get audited, it ends up becoming the cheapest loan that you can get. Because if you, I guess, push the government and get all this money back, and then you get audited, and they're like, hey, you wrote off a lot of things you weren't supposed to, or you did some things you weren't supposed to, is that you get a chance, right, to pay it back. And I'm assuming there might be like maybe penalties or maybe interest associated with it.
Or both.
But he was saying that I guess they give you a big grace period to pay it back, and you would get the money up front so far in advance that it turns out to be a very affordable loan that you can take from the government.
I don't necessarily know that that's the best advice.
So I'm going to use that and just start trying to scam as much money as I can from the government.
No, he's not.
I
Well, I will
I
say
was
this:
gonna
we
say
did get.
he'll have to find a new CPA if
Yeah.
that's what he. Yeah.
I
He
may
comes
know
to
a
the
couple
house and he's like,
people
"You're not going to believe what I just saw." I was like,
Yeah, Rex
"Unfollow."
actually knows someone who has
I
that
got-
same.
I got a couple of people I know that think that way about taxes. They're like, just run it till the wheels fall off is cheaper and then just deal with it later. But I mean, I personally, when I was younger, like all I did was like change my withholdings because I needed money. And then I might have
Right.
forgot about it for 3 years, didn't file my taxes for 3 years. And I owed like $12,000. And like, even with the minimum payments, like the minimum payments I set up were for like 5 years or whatever. Like the interest every month that accrued, like made the payment like almost worthless. Like it was like $150 a month. And like I was accruing like $138 in interest or something stupid.
Oh,
So
boy.
it's like,
So maybe that was terrible advice.
it depends on the numbers. Like, but if the numbers, like if you have a high enough balance, they only give you so long to pay it off. And then like
Yeah,
you can
they
accrue
do.
interest faster than you can possibly pay it off. And it just is like a never ending, like they only have so long to collect, but like Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
That's like it was on
And I
eventually,
TikTok,
mean,
so it had to be true.
yeah,
yeah,
right.
No,
They
just
also
unfollow that
they
human.
also it's like if they really depending on the situation, they could impose criminal charges. Like they don't like
okay.
people
Also
just
true.
actively evading, paying their taxes. Like they have the ability to come in if it's too pushing it too far to actually. I mean, I see cases all the time. I just read when I was preparing for our Augusta rule video that we did, I read about a tax preparer who had helped thousands of taxpayers over the years. He had done it forever and he helped them write off all kinds of nonsense. And boy, when they started looking through at who he helped and then what he did on his own taxes and other people, he got a couple years in prison. So they can do
Okay.
it. You make them angry enough. It's not just penalties and interest you're looking at, but
And we
hopefully
did
that
even have
guy
our
on TikTok's careful.
we had a good comment here from a hater too. He said he's committing fraud. This guy was a cop, yet he can afford a Lambo and numerous cars and numerous houses. And you forgot, I will
Oh.
mention, Ferrari riding, Rolex wearing, kiss stealing, wheel and dealing, son of a gun. So you left all those out as well.
But you
Oh
seem like
man,
such a
this
nice guy, Chris.
Yeah.
it's
So
like when people don't pay
I
attention
love
to
it.
the
It's like every
details.
day.
it's just crazy to get that kind of judgment through a screen.
People get all riled up on this stuff.
It's okay.
So
Well,
now you guys, I will say, so you guys work together, correct?
Oh, I love this.
Every beautiful day, Chris.
I
Every
know.
day.
Oh,
I
I love
know.
how you said that.
That's why we drink alcohol.
You forgot to say every
No,
beautiful day with my beautiful wife.
no, legit. She's not just the best looking coworker I've ever had, but she's also the smartest, the most reliable. Like she actually
Now, did you have to
works in like,
disclose your relationship to HR?
oh, I am HR, and
Ah,
you can
Oh,
get
so
away
you're
I
with a
like,
lot of things
see.
in this workplace.
do
Let
you
me just
watch?
say,
Do you watch The Office?
I have. I mean, I don't
So
watch much TV in
you're like
general, but
Toby from The Office.
oh, he's
yeah,
Toby.
yeah, real.
It was a compliment. It was sincere.
Oh, right, a
Okay,
compliment. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody loves Toby.
That's why whenever we do anything, like if she ever starts to get frisky, I'm like, HR is going to find out about this. If they hear about this, you're going to be fired.
Mhm. Yeah,
I am the
exactly.
boss.
So now, what do you guys do exactly for your business? What is everything that you guys kind of cover?
Um, well, first of all, I
what do you
have to
do?
say that our desks, like our monitors are like this, and so I don't see him.
Ah,
So,
She just has to
you
hear.
know,
She just has to hear me.
he
that makes
talks a
sense.
lot.
Strategically put like
Talks a
that.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a chatty coworker. But I've got my screen to kind of like give me a break. He also wants to eat lunch a lot. Just like, when
Like
are we
multiple
gonna eat?
times.
Or are you hungry? No, just every day he wants lunch. He's like, are we gonna have lunch? And I'm
In the
like,
middle
I
of the day.
guess, I guess. I don't know. Go have lunch. Go
You
to
can't
the
live on
employee
Pop-Tarts.
kitchen.
Go to the employee
You
kitchen.
can't? Yeah, go to the
No.
employee kitchen and make yourself some food. Go eat your lunch. Anyway, my coworker wants to go to lunch with me every day, even if it's just away from my desk. But
It's like your
yeah, we
work
do.
boyfriend.
Yeah. But we do a lot, Chris. We are jacks of many trades, we do tax advising. During tax filing season, we do some preparation, business consulting, and then, I have all my little projects that I'm working on. What else? So many things. We do so many things. We're never stopping. We're doing the different streams of income, right? We try to
Yeah.
diversify our business.
And then when it comes to like accounting and stuff or being a CPA, do you have like a target demographic that you find yourself like catering towards or working towards, or do you have like the perfect client that you try to work with?
Well, yeah, I I have found that because I'm such a people person, I do better working with less clients in longer engagements. And so back in the day when I started my practice and I was just doing tax returns and I would do bookkeeping and accounting and everything like that, but I've really both of us, Rex and I, have both kind of scaled it into, less clients. They have a higher net worth usually so that they can pay the ongoing fees, and then we can really help them not just with their taxes, but their year-round tax planning, their business consulting, scaling their business, looking at their KPIs. So I guess business owners of a fairly high net worth are who we mostly work with. I'm just and you hear I actually thought we should do a video about this on CPA After Dark because people just complain all the time how I can't get a hold of my CPA. I can't get a hold of my CPA. I have this question. They don't ever answer me back. And I kind of thought, there's different levels of service
Yeah.
that CPAs and tax preparers and accountants offer. And I think people don't understand that there's different levels. And so they'll be like, well, I pay for them to get my taxes done, so they should answer my questions all throughout the year. Like I pay them monthly to do my bookkeeping, so why won't they answer me when I want to buy a vehicle and they won't tell me what to do? And it's like it depends on the type of accountant you go for, and there's lots of accountants that just do the minimal communication thing. And there's lots of clients that like it. So my dream client is one that wants to learn and that, is grateful for what I do and is an active participant in our
Mhm.
strategies to like increase their financial portfolio, increase their wealth, do all that stuff. Because there's also other clients when you start trying to teach them, they just are like, they don't want to hear it at all. I'm a talker. I don't like that.
Yeah. I guess and my ideal client is somebody who does something that's interesting. And like there's all sorts of different things that are interesting. Like what you guys do, that shit's interesting. Like
Yeah, I
you
love all
guys
the
are
fraud that Chris does all the time. It's so interesting.
well, I
It's
mean,
like,
like you guys do like all sorts of different
All
stuff,
your
and it's like
dirty money.
you don't have conventional forms of income. So it's like
Right.
for me, that's like what it kind of like that's who I like to help is people with unconventional business income that would otherwise really like have to talk to some like uptight nerdy accountant person. And it's to me that's like I know about taxes and accounting, so I may as well share that. And if I can share that with people who maybe aren't your typical business owner, don't own, a box factory or a CPA firm or whatever, they own a snake business or they're professional, whatever, it's like they jump down a bridge, like whatever. There's people doing all sorts of dumb things that need help. And like that's the kind of people I want to help. But again, it's
That
I
like
love
makes
there's
that.
only
that
so much
makes
time,
sense too, because I
you
feel like
know?
with when
yeah.
it comes to like people that obviously everybody does their taxes, most, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that would be like say a W-2 employee that go in, punch a clock, they leave, they get a paycheck, they get their W-2, and they have to file their taxes. And I would think that that's somewhat easier of a job for you to do versus somebody that now owns a business or multiple businesses. I feel like there's a lot more advantages you can take of tax codes where you can start to be more creative and like really start to pick things
Mhm.
apart. And like, I feel like if I was you guys, which I'm not, that would be more fun of a job because now you can really start to like, how can I save more money for this person? Like, how can I do this and like, and change
Mhm.
things instead of just being a regular like person has a regular W-2, they don't have any write-offs, they just
Mhm.
need their taxes done, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like not fulfilling and it's frustrating and it gets frustrating and sad sometimes because they're like, "Why am I paying so much? Why can't you help me?" And there's just not that many tax write-offs if all you are as a W-2 employee. You're just
Right.
so limited, and it's, like, very hard conversations to have, and so you always try to encourage them to diversify, get additional, things going on, but there are people who work the full-time jobs, and they're, like, too tired. They're like, "I don't wanna start a side hustle on my
Right.
days off and my weekends off," or, "I don't wanna have a rental property, that's too much work." And so it's difficult when you're trying to come up with strategies for these high W-2 earners when there's just a lot it's a lot. The tax code was written to favor real estate and small businesses, not the
Mhm.
W-2 employees. So for sure, I have felt unfulfilled in the past as I get people just coming once a year, handing me a stack of their papers and then being like, "What? Why do I owe?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't
Yeah.
like this." So I
I
like
think the
to
big
I'm a
thing is
person
the
and I like to have
government obviously runs a business. Like they run the country, they run a business and they do it terribly, like very poorly. And I think they can look at people and say, if you can create businesses that give people jobs, because we're not good at it, if you can create housing for people and give them places to live and put money in their pockets, we're going to give you incentives because
Mhm.
we don't do it well. So if you guys can do it really good, we're going to give those people incentives to do it and help us out. And that's just
Yeah.
the way I kind of look at it is the government wants a little help. Like, hey, if you guys can do a good job at this, we'll give you a kickback and help you out. And so,
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure that's part of the reason.
yeah.
I'm sure
but
it's got to be. They're looking out for us.
Yeah, they've got our best interest in mind.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
If you're willing to do a little bit more, like not just, I'm not saying that a W-2 employee is not working hard because you guys work hard too. But if you're not willing to do the side hustle or do the real estate thing, you're not giving yourself that opportunity to get those additional write-offs and have some fun with your taxes. Because it is like, to me, it's fun. I love this stuff. It's very fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's fun too.
And
But, you know, it is they do say it's like they'll be like, the W-2 employee is just taking, you know, it's like you're just shifting some of your income on the W-2 employee, and then, you know, you have this rest, and then as the business owner, you know, you get to play with it like you said, and you can turn personal
Mhm.
expenses and convert them into business expenses, and you can, you know, buy a nicer car that's for business and all of these things, and meanwhile, they're just stuck with that big chunk of income, and it's completely, especially with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, now they can't even, you know, take miscellaneous itemized deductions. They are just stuck with it. And a lot
Mhm.
of employees will say, well, I have my home office now. And so can I write off my home office? But it's their home office for their W-2 job. And they can't even write that off. It's like, I get a reimbursement from your employer. They're, you know,
Yeah.
stacking in the cash by not having to provide you with an office. And meanwhile, you can't write off any of your expenses. Or you got to start a side hustle so that you can write off your home office and
Yeah.
make more money too on top of it. So,
Yeah, even if your side
yeah,
hustle is like
fun times.
small, like you start a little business, it's a side hustle and it's not big and doesn't produce a ton of money, it can help really like offset that W-2 and make you more money indirectly through tax time.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I try to tell everybody, I'm like, just start a business doing something, like start a little landscape business, get some people, get some lawn care equipment, and get some people to go cut grasses for you. And you just manage everything. And, I was like, you can benefit big time off of stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and I will say we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about fitness and we talked about business. Do you think that there's a correlation between any correlation between being a business owner and taking fitness and merging them together? Do you think they have anything to do with one another?
Well, I know that for me, I like have never really been a big fitness person until I started studying for the CPA exams and doing my business and having so much on my plate. And just personally for me, I found through fitness a way to like, I don't know, I feel like when you're in the and I mean, I know Rex can come at this from a different perspective. He's way better at it than I am because of his extreme fitness routine, but it's like you get in those moments where you're working out and you're doing it with your body and it like clears your mind, or you're overcoming something hard that's like a physical challenge, and then you're able to take that, you know, in my case it's off my yoga mat. I'm able to take those challenges that I overcame on the mat, and then I'll come up against something in business, and I don't know exactly how or why it works. I just feel like having a good fitness routine like makes me mentally stronger when it comes to facing pressure, taking risks, you know, going, you know, having more stamina to go and go and go. And then, you know, I know Rex can weigh in on that a lot.
Oh yeah. You gotta let the beast out. You gotta do something to like get your energy out and like whatever it is that makes you feel good and whatever like gives you that release of whatever the meditation state. Like if you're lucky enough to have like a sport or an activity where you can just zone in and you can get in there quick. A lot of people like describe like the runner's high or
Mhm.
whatever it is. I'm sure you get to that point like when you're really like maxing out and you're pushing your body to that limit. Like you get to that point where you're like you feel like you want to stop, but once you push through it, it takes you to that whole nother level. And once you know you can do that physically, then like the mental challenges of like whatever it may be, like even when I was just a W-2 job person with a stressful corporate job, like that shit helped all the time. And so it's like I feel like I go crazy if I don't do it for like a month or a couple weeks. I start like it's like a little drip of water every week, just like deet, 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 deet. Eventually I'll go crazy.
And fitness can
You need
literally
it.
be anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be necessarily extreme things. Like a lot of people that
No.
watch a channel, like it doesn't have to be lifting extreme amounts of weight. It doesn't have to be. It could be literally anything. It could be going for a
Yeah.
walk, jogging, yoga, Pilates, CrossFit. It could be absolutely anything. But it takes dedication. And I think there's a
Right.
big misconception between like motivation and dedication is like
Mhm.
motivation is what you need to have to go do something or a desire to want to go do it. And then dedication is getting it done regardless of how you feel about it. Like whether you're in the mood or not, you go out and do it. And that's dedication. And when
Yeah.
you need that to get your workouts done, I think it's going to cross over, and it's going to be the same way when you're a business owner of like, I need to get these things done, whether I want to or not. Like you can create your own hours as a business owner,
Yeah.
but you wake up in the morning and you start working and doing things with that, whether you want to or not. Like you'd be like, hey, I want to go have a mimosa by the pool. But instead, I actually have to go do work.
Yeah.
So
Well, like that's you hit the nail on the head. It's like for me, it's like discipline, and it started for me back when I first started competing. It was like, well, if I'm going to compete and I'm working, my 9 to 5, my corporate job, my state job, but I was working 9 to 5, and it was like, all right, well, I could go to the gym after work, but I had to pick my daughter up from daycare. I had to cook dinner somewhere in there and put her to bed, and then I had this little window where I could work out. The only way to make it work and for me to train enough to be at a level to compete was to get to the gym at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I would train for 2 hours, coach to 6 a.m., and then I would go to work and be there for like 8:30, 9 o'clock, work all day, pick up my daughter, train again at night, make dinner, get her to bed, get myself to bed, and do it again the next day. And it was like, it sucked. Like, waking up that early and getting it done, it really did suck, but I was motivated. And then the discipline made me do it every single day. And even now, like people think it's so funny when I talk to people and they're like, oh, you get to work from home, must be nice. And it's like, well, I've been at the gym 3 times this week. I woke up at 4 a.m. and got to the gym at 4:45. 3 times. I work for myself. I am my own boss. But I got to the gym, got it done, started working earlier. So now I'm like up, I'm moving, I'm motivated. I got my energy, my dopamine's out, my like I'm like raring to go. And I go like I had a client until I think I came inside 8:45 last night from 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's like
Wow.
fitness tapers into, I believe anyway, it tapers into like your work and your life, like your family life and everything. If you're disciplined in fitness, I think it's going to roll over into being motivated in your business. You're already up, you're already moving around, and you're going to be able to set up a schedule easier. I believe your family life is going to be more disciplined and organized, and you're going to have everything under control. If you have your fitness under control, it all falls. It's like a waterfall effect.
It's
That
definitely
makes
a better way to start your day, even if you're up at 4 and you're like, "This sucks," by the time you're done, you're awake, you're ready to go, you've done
Oh,
other like,
yeah.
like, by that time everybody else wakes up, you're like, "Oh, I've done, like, 5 things today." And see, we're 2 hours behind you, so I'll text you, at, like, 5:36 in the morning, and Rex will be like, "It's early." I'm like, "Not for them, it's 8. They've been
No,
awake
at
for
that point,
forever,
it's
they're
8.
fine."
Yeah, I've been up for
Yeah,
4 hours.
yeah. I
and that's how
also
it is.
think
Like
there's
even
something.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think there's something, and I don't quite know how to pinpoint it exactly, but like there's something with failure, at least for me. Like I've always been really afraid to fail, and I've really like struggled with not being perfect, like having that perfectionism stuff. And when I was doing the CPA exams, I failed two. The first one I failed by 1 point, and the fourth one I failed by 2 points. But that first one, I'll never forget it because I failed it. And the next day, the next morning, I was in my chair and I was going to force myself to do yoga and work out and get on my mat. And like, I couldn't even barely put my pants on. Like, I was just so depressed. I was in such a, Rex is like, how long is it going to take you to get your leg through one of those pant legs? But I
Aw.
did it. And as I had continued studying for the retake and studying for other things, I would have times when I'd be working out where it's like you're pushing your body and it kind of like brought me into this state of like being able to think, well, why am I so afraid of failure? Or, like why, or like look at what I can prove that I can do in this physical way
Mhm.
to prove that, like I don't know, there's something about it that it like brings up your self-worth and your confidence. And I don't quite know how that works, but at least for me, it did. It helped me work through a lot of my like issues around failure and perfectionism. Having that routine, it helped me like go inside and kind of figure it out while I was working out. I don't know. I don't really know. What
Yeah,
do
I
you
also
feel,
think
Chris?
too is like there's a lot of times where we like we've either partnered with people into businesses or invest in other people and their businesses. And I feel like when you look at somebody, and this might be me, it might be like a negative thing to say, but when you look at how somebody takes care of themselves and how they dress, how they groom themselves, and their overall condition of their body, is if you can't take care of yourself, like if you can't say have your shirt tucked in and you can't have your hair combed and you can't be fit or actually, care about like what goes into your mouth when you eat and actually try to stay in some decent shape, then what does it say about your business? Like if you can't even put yourself first and take care of yourself and make yourself look like you actually care about yourself, then I think your business probably has some loose ends. You're probably sloppy with the stuff you do. Your bookkeeping's probably sloppy. You probably cut corners on your
Oh,
business. And that's just the way I look at it is like when I look at you, like you're the captain of your ship. Like if you can't even take care
yeah.
of yourself, your business is probably sloppy when you really dig into it. So and so I can write people off right away just based on the way they look is like it's probably a there's probably a good chance that your business isn't meticulous and yet you
I
don't
mean,
care
that
about
is true
yourself whatsoever.
because how are
Mhm.
you supposed you have to be in the best it's like how they say, "Oh, take care of yourself, do
Right.
self-care so you can be a good mom." It is the same thing as for a business owner. It's like if you might think you're doing the right thing by putting all of your energy into your business and being like, "Well, I don't have time to work out and I don't have time because I got to do my business and I got to get to work." But you are right. It's like you're more productive when you wake
Mhm.
up and you get that fitness. You're more disciplined, like Kristen said, you're more organized in your own life and then you're more efficient and productive in your business rather than just burning the candle at both ends being so tired that yeah, I could see how people could let some of those details go because they
Mhm.
don't take care of themselves like it's yeah, yeah.
And it's also like I think you carry yourself different when you walk into a room. Like and when I walk into the room too is like or if I watch somebody walk into the room, say another guy, when there's a guy that walks in and he stands tall and his shoulders are back and he's very well dressed and takes care of himself, I'll start to sit up in my chair and I'm like, "Oh, shit, I'm gonna listen to what this guy says." Like, "Oh shit." But then when somebody walks in and they're like, just out of shape, they look like they like just ran up 7 flights of stairs and they're breathing heavy just walking into the room and they just look a mess. Like I just sit there, I'm like, "Oh, here we go. Like this is gonna be another boring hour. Listen to this guy speak." Like it's just there's something about when somebody walks into the room, you can command a bunch of attention where
Yeah.
immediately I'm like, this guy might in all reality, he might not even be that smart, but I just look at somebody, I'm like, okay, this guy probably knows what he's about to talk about. I'm gonna start listening.
But he looks like he demands
Yeah, and
respect.
like some people walk into the room and they just stand up tall, their shoulders are back, they have good posture, and they're dressed nice and they look fit. And I'm like, this guy takes care of himself. I bet whatever he studies, I'm
Did you
just gonna
hear that,
listen.
Rex?
So
Take notes.
I,
Chris is looking at you.
Chris looks Chris looks
well,
starstruck
you guys
too.
must have done good because you got hired.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like, I'm not gonna hire
that was
somebody
my
like
6-inch
that.
heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh,
You
she
did like
doesn't."
my shoes, so
I did.
They
Yeah,
knew what soaking was right off the bat. So I'm like, they're hired.
Rex always jokes about heels too as being a sign of
Oh,
dominance in women.
it's
He'll be like,
Yes.
"Oh, yeah," and he just is always jokes about that, and
it's
I
like
mean,
a
it
it's
is
like a
true.
pissing
I'll see
contest for the
someone in
women.
kitten heels, and I don't know if I take them as serious,
No.
they can't
No, because
they
you,
can't
like
do the
you own the
stilettos.
room. You put on those stilettos, and I feel like you just own the room. You demand the same thing of, like, a man, like, walking in, like, chest up and shoulders back, and, like, you just demand respect. I feel like a woman coming in with a nice high pair of stilettos, you're demanding that same level of respect that that man just, asked for.
Yeah,
So,
More,
and other women
more.
know it hurts. They know it doesn't
yeah.
feel good, and then you see someone else who's wearing a pair of kitten heels because they don't wanna face
Mhm.
the pain, and you're like, "Oh, I don't know. You can't even
Yeah.
handle, like, the pain
Mm.
from stilettos for a couple hours? I'm not sure."
Then she
And
whines
that goes
about it
back to, like,
And
later.
the
then I do
discipline
whine about
thing.
it later, but that's
They do
fine.
hurt your feet. They cram your
They
toes
do.
in quite a bit,
They
but
hurt.
they make my calves look
But
amazing.
that goes back to the
Oh,
discipline thing, like, we all know they hurt, but, I know you and I wear them anyway. It's the same thing
oh,
when, like, people are like, "Well, I can't work out because, there's not enough hours in the day." We all get the same 24 hours. Some of us are just utilizing more of the 24 hours. So you can get up earlier, you can work out earlier. Like, I have a home gym. Yes, I have a very stocked home gym. Don't get me wrong. But you can work out at home and it doesn't have to be anything insane. You just have to move. So you do have the
yeah,
same 24 hours that I have. It's just a matter of what are you doing with that time? Are you disciplined enough to do it? Are you disciplined enough to put on the shoes, demand the, you know, the not demand the confidence,
Respect.
demand the respect. You know what I mean? So it all kind of pulls together.
Yeah, and I don't have a home gym, and I had 3 children under the age of 3, you know, I have twins, I have another one that's barely 2 years older. I can't just, like, leave my and forever, he worked his job where he had to be out the door at 6 or 6:30, and so I wasn't gonna get up and go to the gym when I'd been up with kids half the night because the kids wake up and all kinds of stuff, and so I just found a little square in my room for my mat, and I still use it to this day,
Perfect.
even though I probably could go to the gym, but by this point, I have made a routine. I have my little weights and I have everything. And it's like, that's why I have heard that excuse a lot of, not having the time or I have young children or I don't have a place to work out. And it's like, I'm doing it in a tiny little square with 3 under the age of 3. So I think, you can make it happen if you really want to. You can find a
Hell
place.
yeah.
You can find a way. You can do it without weights. I mean, forever I did yoga with books instead of blocks and they were like $6. And I was like, maybe I should buy some blocks.
I've tried yoga a few times and I cannot for the life of me.
Oh, okay,
We're
so
not
that's
very
what we should
flexible.
do is
Yeah.
we should trade and I'll do a workout with you guys. Me and Rex will do a workout with you guys, and then you guys have to do yoga with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yoga's
you
fun
could
as
teach us
shit,
your ways.
literally. Like
Yeah.
I need like the
I
yoga blocks and stuff. I could barely touch my toes. It's that.
it's so unbelievably hard, especially
Oh
as
yeah.
somebody I'm like, oh, I'm
And then we did
athletic, I'm physical,
Actually,
I can do.
kickboxing is
Dude,
making
it's
me more flexible.
we did
so
a hot
Yeah, I
yoga
would love
too.
to learn to
ugh,
kickbox.
gross.
Oh no, we
No,
didn't do hot yoga. I was just sweating
No,
profusely
we did
trying to do
hot
it.
yoga.
Was it hot
It
yoga?
was hot yoga.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yes.
I thought I was having a heart attack.
No, we did hot yoga, and with how sore we were afterwards.
They provided alcohol, which was a
Oh,
big
they
mistake.
provided, yeah.
Like I was like in like
wow.
downward doggy
Booze,
style,
yeah.
and they were like, "Here's a mimosa."
It was an event. It was a like a fundraiser, but we went to support a friend, and yeah, there were cocktails involved. But we did the hot yoga, and we were incredibly sore from it, like
Mhm.
obnoxiously sore. Remember that?
I
We thought
do.
we broke something, like overstretched something.
You
Many
probably
things,
did.
actually.
Yeah.
It must have been
Alright.
power yoga.
Downward doggy style, huh?
Yeah, so now I'm sitting here feeling like my excuses about having COVID and not being able to
Uh,
breathe are weak, and I need to go work out after this 'cause I
That's
need
what
to
happens when you go
practice
to the
what I
Mormon
preach.
conventions. Sharing your germs, soaking with
See?
everybody.
All the
Yeah,
soaking.
it's true.
yeesh.
Yeah,
Um,
you guys are gonna have to really, like,
No.
be aware of the Mormons when you're here.
I'm excited to
I'm just
learn. This
kidding.
is fun.
I'm just kidding. They're great.
They'll embrace you.
They're great.
They're great.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
they're
Well,
fine.
I wanted to. Well, we were just hitting an hour and 10 minutes. This flew by pretty quickly.
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
But I wanted to thank you guys for coming on our podcast. And is there anything that you guys need to plug or shout out? Any businesses that you want people to like follow or do anything other than CPA After Dark on YouTube
And Spotify.
and Spotify?
You could follow my Instagram, The Extroverted Accountant. I will be having a lot of updates coming shortly now that tax filing season is over. I'm working on a few different projects for small business owners and for individuals to help grow their wealth. So I would say follow my Instagram, The Extroverted Accountant, and then that way I can get you updates as they come out.
Are you on any other social platforms?
TikTok.
I,
TikTok
I am.
Anonymous.
I'm on TikTok. I need to do better. And then then YouTube. And I do have a extroverted accountant Facebook page too. So you could follow that as well.
Rex?
Just yeah, everything she said. Shout out my wife for being amazing.
She's the one that
you
pays the
know,
bills.
yeah, and you guys are always amazing. Like everything you guys have done to help us like get everything set up and get involved and get CPA After Dark off the ground has been like it's been
It's been
huge.
fun.
Like
Yeah.
it was like a crazy wild idea that I had a long time ago with Marit, and it's like we never knew what to do with it. And like once we brought it up to you guys, it just kind of took off, and it really was what was needed for it. Is like we needed Kristen, we needed Chris, we needed you guys to like be a part of it. And so like I'm extremely grateful for you guys, and thanks for bringing us on. Other than that, shout out to the Night Wolf for the Knox Wolf brand shirt. He's a legend. Go follow him. Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right,
You
so we'll
guys
do
are
this
great.
again soon, and we're going to be coming live. Well, you guys maybe not live, but you guys are going to be filming together, not like this virtually anymore. Coming up in June, we'll get some episodes of you guys actually filming together. So that's kind of
So
exciting.
exciting.
That's gonna be so exciting. I can't
Yeah, it's
wait.
like a
We should
whole
try
nother
to do like a
dynamic.
live. That would be cool.
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could,
Get
yeah.
like some
Yeah, we could
questions,
do
try
a
to do a
live.
live, when we're together. We could try to work something out like
Yeah,
that.
start thinking of your
Love it.
questions for CPA After Dark live in
Yeah.
June. Coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And we have to find a restaurant too. We need to do dinner while we're in Salt Lake City. I need to see something while we're out there.
There's lots of good restaurants
Just not Thai. Chris
in that
actually
area.
won't eat Thai.
Yeah, not Thai. Anything but Thai, please. And I'm down.
CPA After Dark, Salt Lake City, live and unsoaked.
Live from the
Oh.
Thai restaurant while Chris is in the bathroom.
And you know what's interesting? So yeah, so there's in that same part where you were looking, there's Broovies, which is the movie theater where you can have beer while you watch movies, a Thai massage
Ooh.
place, the Thai restaurant place, and then Dr. John's, which is the sex shop that has all of the things. So it's quite the corner right there. where
Awesome. You guys are
can
definitely
go.
going to want to subscribe to this channel because there's
Salt
obviously a
Lake
lot
locals know.
coming. So thank you guys again for watching, and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys have any questions, you want to reach out to Rex or Marit, make sure you reach out to them on Instagram, and we'll have all that in the description down below. We will catch you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.